Good evening, Urbanites. Welcome to Business Boost Extra, and my name is Lerato Qwabe. I am your host, and today I am coming to you live all the way from Hotel Sky. We are at the International Film Tourism Africa, ITFFA.
That is right.
Oh, got that right. It's quite a long name. And with me today are the panel speakers as well as the organizers, who are going to be sharing some light with us about the African film tourism. My goodness.
It's a lot.
English is a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot, but we learn through it. So welcome to Business Boost Extra, and I'm excited to have a chat with you about today's event and the future of the film tourism Africa.
Thank you very much for having us, and greetings to all the viewers.
And I'm talking to Mr.
James Byrne.
James Byrne. And I'm talking
I'm Dawn Robinson from Jozi My Jozi, not from ITFFA, but a partner.
Jozi My Jozi, which then concludes on the tourism sector of it. So today we're going to be discussing film and tourism. So what is the objectives for the Jozi and the film industry in Africa?
Okay, so the International Tourism Film Festival Africa started in 2019, and we developed a youth empowerment initiative that could run parallel with that. So 7 years later, I was very fortunate to be put in touch with Dawn Robinson from Jozi My Jozi, and the initiative is to curate content for the G20 Summit delegates in advance while they're still across the pond, make them aware of what our cultural artistic offerings are, so that they can book those experiences ahead of time, because limited availability, I'm quite sure, for the size delegation that's been coming through.
And my lady, this question is going to come to you. Joburg is it's the city of gold, and most international films are also filmed in South Africa. Can you tell me what is the angle when it comes to involving indigenous languages within the film industry?
Look, I think National Film and Video Foundation does a lot of work. The Gauteng Film and Video Foundation also do a lot of work trying to get more stories told in indigenous languages. And I think the same challenge is there across the creative economy. So, I mean, I struggle to find enough storybooks for young kids that are in indigenous languages. So I think the push is there. The issue is then, how do you sell those stories outside of South Africa internationally? I mean, I've just come back from a trip to Mozambique, and I met with the Mozambican Writers Association, and they were saying, they think, they dream in Portuguese, and therefore they write in Portuguese, but that means where do they sell their stories? Where do they sell it as only kind of Angola, Cote d'Ivoire, Brazil, and how do they actually get their stories out there if they don't translate them into English? So yes, it's really important, but I think the issue of language is a huge one that we still have to conquer. But hopefully there's some AI apps that are going to help us with that.
Yes, we need many of those. And the youth, what is the youth involvement? You speak a lot about youth and skills empowerment. And I know that the biggest struggle that we struggle with as the youth is equipment and support system.
Yes.
So how are we involving them here? Because this one you said is specifically around the youth.
So barriers to entry, least objectionable path forward, path of least resistance. How do we make sense of this? Because everything costs money, of course. Noble and virtuous as this concept is, hard costs need to be covered. So typically, you look at the film students. Film students need a side hustle. They need pocket money to supplement their income, subsidize their studies. So why not equip and enable them to partner with a brand like Nikon? Nikon, in turn, definitely want a relationship with the next generation of filmmakers. So you've got this mutually symbiotic relationship developing there. So the youth now have access to equipment and gear floated by Nikon. They actually loan it to them, and the youth don't even have to pay insurance on that, which is quite epic. Nikon in turn ask for a mention in the show reel or the story or a logo placement, nothing too crazy. So that helps them a lot. And then of course, partnering with Jozi My Jozi. Jozi My Jozi has a loud voice, it has a big presence. So the hope is that we will attract a cell phone either network provider or brand to sponsor some handsets for the youth.
Let's call upon them.
But let me tell you this, we're a great bunch of people in this country. Last time we activated in this space and we had a shortage of handsets, I went to one of our partner brands, Panavision, and I said, hey, you guys upgrade every 2 years on your contracts. What do you do with the old phones? No, it's in a cupboard. I was like, well, how about you donate a couple of phones to these youth? And that worked really well. The challenge with that is the youth are going to drop them. They are going to get stolen. They are going to get messed up while curating content. So shame, as they start getting somewhere, boop, something happens.
2 steps back.
So the biggest blessing on the planet would be to have an insurance company or the cell phone company say, we'll provide for 1 year. Of course, they want some deliverables, no problem. And get the guys out there starting to curate their content, knowing the handset is insured, they've got 50 gigs of data per month, at least they can actually access the opportunity and make good of it.
And how did the film festival come about?
The inextricable linkages between film and tourism, it's a multifaceted term. Hey, I mean, everyone talks about the film The Beach shot in Phuket, how much footfall landed as a result. You want your photo taken where Leo DiCaprio did this in that scene and blah blah. Yes, there's that. But there's also driving footfall by virtue of film production. So look at the Statue of Liberty. In almost every American movie, everyone wants to go to Staten Island to see the Statue of Liberty because of that. We're saying, as tourism-related enterprises, we're needing to use digital narratives to promote our offerings because the world has changed. There's been a convergence from traditional formats to the new norm, which is digital transitions. And then apart from that, film production relies very heavily on tourism products and services. If you're an international production, you need to get a visa to come to this country. So you're going to be booked into a hotel for that term of time. There's a flight, there's an airport transfer, there's a per diem. And at a conservative glance, my business case study, I've proven that 66,000 Rand gets spent per visa issued for film production purposes in this country. So we need to bring the two together.
So, my lady, can you tell us the impact that you see with the partnership with the film festival from the Jozi's angle side of things?
So maybe let me just recap a little bit about what Jozi My Jozi is about, okay? So Jozi My Jozi is a movement of like-minded people. It's a coalition of the willing, that's what we call it, because it's people that are willing to roll up their sleeves, to put back into the city that has made us. So we even have a term which we say people are Jozi made. So you might not have been born in Johannesburg, but so many people came from all parts of this country and all parts of Africa to make their fortune, so to speak, in Johannesburg, and those people are Jozi made. But Joburg as a city has fallen into a lot of disrepair. People have moved out. You've got new city centres like Sandton, where we are based today, or Rosebank, and the inner city of Joburg has become very run down. It's got a lot of migrant communities that aren't recognized, that are doing amazing stuff in the city as well. So Jozi My Jozi came about to relove, reimagine and reinvent Joburg. And when we looked at that, you spoke earlier about Joburg being a city built on gold. Well, we don't have much gold left. But what we've decided as Jozi My Jozi is that the gold of Joburg is the people of Joburg. So it's a movement really built on people and individuals. And quite soon we're going to be launching a campaign where we're going to showcase amazing people that are Joburg made and why they believe in Joburg and why they're doing things in Joburg. So Jozi My Jozi is a movement, it's an NPO, and it's made up of all these big corporates, but we work on different, we call it 5 pillars that we work on. So, we're cleaning the city, we making sure it's a safe place, we fixing things, we dealing with issues, social issues like homelessness and child neglect and just facilities for children, a lot of educational programs with the universities and ECD organizations in the city, and then a lot of commercial stuff. But the work that I particularly do, so my background is from the creative and visitor economy. I've served as CEO for creative industries organizations as well as tourism organizations, and for a long time I've been advocating to bring these two things together. And Jozi My Jozi is a unique opportunity for me to bring young people that are largely driving our creative economy and our innovation economy, digital innovation economy together with people that are working in what I like to call the visitor economy, because it's not just about tourism or tour guides, it's about the whole value chain. So the work that I do is like, so once we've fixed the city and we've made it all nice again, how do we actually drive people back into the city? How do we get local people to cross over from center? Because you saw when James asked how many people have been into the inner city, how many people have been into the inner city. People are scared. So we need to drive local people living in Joburg. We need to drive South Africans back into the city because there's amazing things to do in the city.
100%.
And then we need to drive international visitors. So what we're doing is not for the G20, but the G20 is a catalyst for us to actually catapult the work that we're doing. I managed Gauteng's involvement in the FIFA World Cup. And what we managed to achieve through that global presence in terms of putting the spotlight on Gauteng is exactly what we're trying to do now using the G20. I mean, like for example, when we moved that famous rugby match from Loftus to Soweto, and suddenly you had people that had never been into Soweto, even they were 78 years old, all going into Soweto, have been browsing people's front yards and stuff like that. I don't know if we'll get to that extent because it's not, but we're working on that. So we're working a lot with tour operators who've been phenomenal in terms of not leaving the city when everybody else left the city. So they are tour operators that will still take you into deep town. I mean, I've walked the city. When I was CFO for tourism, I used to have one day a month where I just walked out of the office and I hit the streets and I went down every alleyway and I went into every shop and introduced myself and started to gather those stories. And that's what we're hoping to do with James. So get young people to understand that they can be part of telling the story of Joburg, the new Joburg as it exists now, because they are young creatives and they're going to tell that story in an amazing way that is going to get people to be interested, which we're going to be able to fight with our partners to expose to our visitors that are coming for the G20, but also to local audiences, just on our social media pages. If we put something out about something happening in the inner city, generally people hit us up and we want to do that, can we come in? And so the campaign that we're going to be running from Tourism Indaba, which is called the Babezi Bonke campaign, which is come and see how Jozi does it. And we're going to be showcasing individuals, organizations, places, spaces, and just encouraging people to come into the city. And our association with this organization is going to really help us to do that.
I'm very excited for that because I, for one, grew up in the inner city of Joburg. So I've had the privilege to see it when it was still the Joburg and versus to what it currently looks like. And it always saddens me, So I'm very excited and all the best. We're definitely going to be keeping updated to that. So how does one become part of the Jozi My Jozi?
Simply go onto our website. So it's www.jozimyjozi.com. It says join the movement. You sign up. We'll keep you informed about what's happening. We try to get people to get involved in projects with us. So we'll put out projects and say, okay, this homeless shelter is in dire need of X, Y, and Z. And we send it out to all the people that are part of the movement. And before you know it, we're inundated with people that are willing to roll up their sleeves. Even if you don't have money, just give of yourself.
Okay. And Mr. James, what is the qualifying criteria that has led to the choosing of the finalist for the festival?
Willing participants. All we need is willingness. You cannot teach a good attitude. You cannot teach willingness. Everything else is teachable. So if you're willing and you've got a good attitude, you're welcome.
Passion.
It's that simple. Yeah.
Plus passion.
Passion helps a lot. So what is our primary objective? And that is to give the youth their sense of dignity and empower them and equip and enable them to go, hey, okay, whoa, I can do this. So what do we need to do? We as the elders, leadership, need to invest of ourselves personally into the youth, that they feel like they matter enough for these larger industry iconic figures that have actually made time for them. And we believe that sort of almost father's heart impartation helps set a chain reaction of events in motion. We believe in you, even if you don't believe in yourself. We'll walk this road with you. We'll help you get there. We're available, we're open, we're accessible. So I think it's wholesome. I think it's going to grow from strength to strength. And I do believe there are plenty willing youth among us. us.
100%. And there are 100 stories, untold African stories that the youth is excited to share.
Absolutely.
And just the last one before I let you go, tell us more about why the partnership with Hotel Sky.
Nobody else wanted us. They were desperate and they just said, look, James, whatever. No, it's colourful, it's vibrant, it's off the beaten track. The people here have got such great attitudes and work ethics. Nothing's too much trouble.
Yes.
So you look at Ignatius Mambinge, Lana Lauderdale, Claudia Moore, the lady from Inga Dijkman, who was with Westgrow. They've got a power frickin' team of guys that are guys and girls that are really amped to make things happen. And again, it's this day and age where it's all about collaborations and partnerships and thinking outside the box. And what are you going to do about it, I think, is the leading question. So when you've got like-minded people like that around you, then it really works.
Nothing is impossible.
Indeed.
And what can we look forward to for the film festival?
For the film festival this year, you can look forward to us unpacking the relationship between film and tourism and bringing these two together in an explosive way and shape to sort of leverage those low-lying yields that can give us instant gains into creating or leveraging them as opportunities, mitigating these barriers of entry into the film and tourism industry for the youth from within our communities, while they authentically share their stories and promote our offerings. It's great having a story, but it doesn't help if no one's heard it.
And what are the last few words you can give us, my lady?
I think I just want to encourage young people to watch out for James's post about what he's going to be doing and to join this and be part of it. And hopefully we can expand it beyond just this young creative thing and have it as an ongoing initiative in the city.
That would be great, actually. Well, we'll also be posting a lot more about it, and we will be following it. And I hope we can get more interviews and more invites to your shows so that we can also get to track where the economy stands with the youth, because the youth is the future. So
Absolutely.
well done to you for being able to share yourself and give yourself the time to encourage and empower the youth. Not many leaders can do that. So thank you for being great leaders.
Thank you so
Thanks
much.
for having us.
Thanks for having us,
Thank you. That is Business Boost Extra, and we are taking this all the way. We are taking it to the streets, and we are getting the youth empowerment. So stick around as we unpack more and have more interviews. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.